Hello and welcome to the Get Off Chat podcast. My name is Andrew.
And I'm Emily.
And I don't normally talk like that, so cool.
That was a weird start.
That was a really weird start. I think we should do that more often.
Yeah, I think the Gear Slum does that sometimes.
Well, you know what? Are they the only ones that are allowed to be cool? Because that might be problematic.
Arguably. I've never been cool, so I'm not the one to ask.
I've always been so popular in high school. I was the prom queen.
I was not.
I was definitely not even in the running for prom king.
Yeah, I was not in the
Yeah.
running for anything.
Granted, I'm like senior year, I moved to a new high school, so that probably didn't help things.
No, probably not. But
Yeah.
I did get to give a speech at graduation.
I did not.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember, side note, since we're talking about prom, I do remember specifically that there was one, the prom queen deal was like a really, I think we all knew who was going to get prom king because the dude was just like super chill.
Mm-hmm.
But prom queen was down to like a couple of people, and there was like the one like chick who was like, think like Mean Girls kind of level. And I honestly do not remember her name, but I remember she was like giving out brownies and like, don't forget to vote for me.
Oh, yeah.
Like trying to like that level. And then at prom, she didn't like, they announced someone else's name. She like stood up and screamed and like stormed out. And I didn't see her the rest of the night. I think she was like crying in the bathroom or something.
Whoa.
I was like, dang.
It's like, it's cool to have goals, but whoa.
Right?
Whoa.
Like, come on. So yeah, that was actually pretty exciting.
My prom wasn't that exciting.
As a teenager, that was prime entertainment value. And then I went back to the corner with all the other AP class kids that I ran with, and we danced like nerds.
Yeah. We did a little bit of Rocky Horror Picture Show dancing at my prom. I don't know if that's like every prom, but all the proms I went to, we did the time warp.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That was so long ago. It's so long.
Are high schoolers even allowed to watch Rocky Horror Picture Show?
No, I don't. I think it's rated R, but I mean, we were just cool, I guess. No, but man, God, prom. My first prom would have been 14 years ago because I just turned 30.
We're not even the same decade anymore.
I know. I'm in my 30s.
Yeah.
I rang it in like a champ though. I went to Chicago for my 30th birthday, and we're staying with a friend who lives down the street from this great little Mexican bakery. And I go in, I just get a single slice of really delicious cake. That was really great sheet cake. And then I walk into the bar next door and order my gin and tonic. And I just felt like I was living my best birthday life.
Living your best life now?
What?
No, you're just saying like you're like living your best life now.
Yeah, that felt good.
Like
and then
name it and claim
yeah, and then we went to he's also around the corner from a gin bar, so I got a lot of different kinds of gin cocktails.
Is that like where you can like go to work out and then also drink?
No, gin bar, gin. Yeah.
It's crazy that like congratulations on being 30, and I don't apologize at all for posting embarrassing photos of you.
I mean, I'm a pretty tongue out kind of girl, so like it's pretty easy to find a picture of me where I got my tongue out of my mouth.
It's really strange that you're like 30 now, because here's something that not sure if I've ever told you, which I guess since you'll probably meet her now that she lives in Seattle, but my mom's also named Emily.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, I don't know if we've been friends for a while. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that. But my mom's named Emily, and she's in her 40s.
She's young.
Yeah, and so like now that you're 30, I'm like,
wow, that is
that pretty much makes you my mom,
right?
Oh
no, take it back. take it all the way back. Take it back right now. I'm turning this car around, and you are not going to get ice cream after dinner.
I want ice cream. Neapolitan.
No Neapolitan ice cream. You are not going to just eat straight out of that gallon jar for breakfast.
Well, anyways, happy
Thank
birthday.
you.
That's my happy birthday present
Thank
to you.
you. Getting embarrassed is a wonderful birthday gift. And on my actual birthday, Rick and I went to Chicago Music Exchange, which is really cool. Uh,
That sounds amazing. I've always wanted to
yeah,
do
it
that.
was so many guitars, and we walk in, and there's this like teenage girl who walks in behind me with her parents, and she was buying her first electric guitar, and I was just so excited for her.
Yes.
Um, yeah, I
Slay.
got to play one of Saul Cole's guitars, and that, whew,
Oh, how was it?
oh my god, oh my god, such a good guitar.
So here's the question for you, since now that you've been, I've kind of wanted to take a weekend trip to Chicago, if nothing else, just to go to Chicago Music
Yeah,
Exchange. Would that be worth the cost of a plane ticket to go there?
no,
Like, just for
yeah,
that?
probably not. I
Okay.
mean, there's a lot to do in Chicago. I think that the cost of a ticket to go to Chicago is well worth it. But,
Well, I mean, there's that. Like, I've always wanted to like reenact Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but
yeah, I guess you could do that.
Bueller,
Go to a Cubs game, that'd be fun. Yeah.
watch them lose. That would also be fun.
Yeah, so that was cool. I played this Martin acoustic that's just called a Little Martin, and I really liked it. They're about 330 bucks new. And I'm gonna be honest, like I'll have just worked folk life and I get paid for working that event. I'm kind of tempted to take a little bit of that paycheck and get me one of those Little Martins.
Well, you could.
Hmm.
I don't know. I think at that price point, a Seagull's a better buy
I already have a
personally,
seagull,
but oh.
but it's so little. It's very little. It's just I feel like it'd be really nice to like take on trips and, like, not feel bad about it or camping or whatever.
Right, right. Well, like laminate guitars are good for that.
I don't know if it was
I've got an
laminate.
old Yamaha. It's
Yeah,
good for that.
yeah.
At that price point, it's gotta
It's
be.
actually really I don't know, but it's really nice. I was talking to my buddy who works for Martin, and I was like, "How do you get them so inexpensive?" It's like, it felt really nice. And he said
Mhm.
have some new processes and materials that just keep the price really low. He can't really share much with me, but he has said he's got a lot of stuff. Martin has a lot of things going on that they're really, really excited about.
Well, they gotta step up their game because Taylor's been killing it
Have they?
lately. And for the record, I've always liked they have been. I've always liked Martin better. Like my Desert Island acoustic would have to be an HD 28V. But Taylor's been killing the game lately. I'm just throwing that out there. What they've done over the last couple of years, like especially their Academy series, is mind-blowingly
Cool. I
good.
haven't played them. I
Have
mean, really,
you need to play the Academy series. That is a game changer for the entry level, student level
yeah.
acoustic guitar
I'll check
range.
it out if I ever, am around one. I don't step into a lot of acoustic rooms these days just because
I know the Guitar Center at Westlake had a bunch of them in when I worked there, and they might. I'm sure they've got to have some over at Roosevelt. I know that they've got some over at the Redmond Guitar
well,
Center.
speaking of the Westlake Guitar Center, I took my bike past there and I thought, they might be closed, but if they're still open, I might like to see what they have in stock.
I mean, it's always looked closed with how rundown it is outside.
Yeah. But there, I got some killer finds. I got the limited edition artwork of the Afterneath by Earthquaker with Loch Ness Monster for like 114
Nessie.
bucks. Yeah, like 114 bucks because it was a display model. Same with an RC3 Boss Looper display model on that. And yeah, I'm really stoked about those couple things. Like, wow. Yeah, I'm very happy. I've been thinking about getting that RC3 for a while, and just for it, like to happen to have stopped in there. I'm sure a lot of people have just given up on poking their head in there, but hey, like if it was worth it for me.
Oh, definitely. I'd be tempted just to drive over there in the next couple of days before they close, just to walk around one last time, because it's going to
Yeah.
be a total trip and space for me to do that. But
Yeah, I should have taken some time to look at the guitars, but since I was on my bicycle, I didn't even want to feel tempted.
right, right.
Yeah. Would have had to have hopped on the 40.
Gross. I actually don't know. I'm assuming that's one of the buses.
It's one of the buses and it's not my favorite. It's like far from my favorite. It's my second least favorite way to get home. I'd rather take the 5 and walk. Like 20 blocks, then take the 40 and walk 3.
I haven't taken a ton of buses in Seattle, mostly the one in and out of Seattle that goes along the 90.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
there's
that's,
like two bus lines. They're like 455, I think, is one of them, something like that.
yeah, that sounds like a thing. But yeah, that's kind of what's new with me, but, you swung by a while ago just and showed me some, new things that you have.
Yeah, so I picked up a new pedal board, which I'm excited about. I got a Squatch board.
Whoop whoop by Dan Dolan.
Yeah, so I'm really excited by this one. It's not like a super traditional like wood stain. It's got like a nice milky, like almost reminds me of like a milky coffee kind of stain color. And I'm a big fan of like non-standard finishes. And then the top on it, I still haven't put Velcro on it. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to bring myself to do it. But the figure on the top is super pretty. So
Mhm.
the thought is I'm gonna Velcro it up. I need to put some rubber feet on it, and then that'll be my little just dedicated space for using pedals to like swapping out for demoing and stuff, and just having some fun with. Just make that my spot for plugging stuff in and playing around. So right now I've got it on like a nice little like knee high bookshelf, so I can sit down in a chair and write over it and play around with it.
Yeah, totally.
Be
I
the
I think
staging ground for exploring new tones never before heard by man.
they're great. They're great little boards. I have one of the small ones too, and I'm just gonna slap 3 or 4 pedals on it for my a couple gigs I have coming up this summer, including I think this episode will come out before May 30th. May 30th, I'm playing guitar at a Dolly Parton tribute at the Royal Room in Seattle. So if you're in town, I'd love to see you. There's a 6:30 show, and I think an 8:30 or 9 o'clock show.
Awesome possum. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, and I also picked up some sinusoid cables as well. So I got some pancake patches and I got a 10-foot red cable.
nice.
So yeah, I'm a happy camper. I just sold like a bunch of my George L's off a couple months ago, and so I've been down
Mhm.
to like I haven't had any like good patch cables. I've got a couple of my DIY ones that I know I need to resolder because they crackled a little bit, and some live wire branded patch cables. I've been really needing something better. So yeah, I'm really it was a splurge that was well worth it.
Yeah. I'm happy for you. Sometimes you gotta make those little splurges, I think, and treat
Treat yourself.
yourself.
Yeah, there we
Yeah.
go.
Treat yourself. Just not all the time because let's practice financial responsibility.
Which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
as much
totally.
as I hate it, I also appreciate it.
Yeah. So, on that note, I kind of wanted to give a shout out to Dwarfcraft Devices. Uh,
Yeah,
I shared this on the Facebook page at least and on my personal profiles, but they're starting a zine, old school, yeah, called She Fuzz. And they are accepting, they're hoping to do 4 or 5 issues in one mixtape. And they're going to tie in a limited run of their Shifa's fuzz pedal. Um, so they're asking for submissions for poetry, essays, fiction, visual art, and music. And they're really trying to make sure that it's as diverse an offering of humans submitting their art and getting it published as possible. I'm hoping to help them with editing it, and I might submit a song and maybe a written piece.
I'm looking forward to hearing it.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's the Shifa's zine for now, and, check it out on their socials. I love this open submission stuff. I could probably do a whole episode about, open submissions. Uh, I think that there's right ways to do them and there's wrong ways to do them, both as somebody doing a call out for open submissions and someone submitting to them. But I'm kind of curious to see what other people think on that matter. Maybe maybe that might be an opportunity to get someone who knows a little more than I do on the show.
Maybe.
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 Hey, so yeah, check it out.
Yeah. Cool.
Cool.
So next up on the list of things we're talking about, our stuff and things list is
Things and
sponsors.
stuff.
No, it's
Oh, okay.
sponsors. Oh, get ahead of yourself.
Sponsors.
Yes. We are looking for sponsors.
Indeed.
We'd love for your excellent brand to sponsor our show. We have rates listed at getoffsetpodcast.com, but we're also open to conversations about package deals and trades and things. And yeah, hit us up.
Yeah, and shout out to the companies that reached out to us after last week's episode.
Yes.
We appreciate you.
Yes, got some fun things in the works, I think.
Lots of great things in the works.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah. Cool. But now I think we should actually talk about stuff and things.
things and stuff.
Yes. Yes. What are we talking about today, Andrew?
We are talking about subscription boxes.
Subscription boxes. Do you subscribe to any of those?
I don't personally know.
Have you ever?
Uh, Not for guitar stuff. I mean, outside of the guitar world, I have happily done so.
Yeah? What kind of box did you get?
Uh, we've my wife and I have done a handful of different things. I honestly don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, I've done a few. I did Imperfect Produce, which was a food delivery thing that I I I know you could like select the foods that you wanted, but I felt like I wasn't using it enough. And
I just forgot. My wife just reminded me. We did. Melissa just reminded me that we subscribed to a wine thing for a couple of months.
oh,
Forgot about
cool.
that.
Yeah, I did one of those too. It was fun.
It was fun. We've done a couple different ones, and the first one we did was trash. There was like one good bottle in the entire thing, but like a
Ugh.
bunch of them were kind of like you don't want a tasting note to ever be described as like that smell when a car like peels out, like that burnt rubber smell.
Only when you're drinking scotch.
What kind of scotch are you drinking?
Really
Burnt rubber
peaty
shouldn't be a
scotch.
tasting note.
Uh
Peaty is not burnt rubber though. There's a distinction.
it's like the taste of like a burnt clutch. It's in that
I get.
family.
I don't see it, but
I'm
anyways, yeah.
drinking that real masculine scotch.
Bleh.
uh,
No, that's not masculine scotch. There's no such thing as masculine scotch.
you're
There's no
right.
such thing as good scotch.
You're right. That was a
That
joke. I hope everyone understands. I don't think that there's a masculine and a feminine beverage.
sure.
Yeah, sure. But I do
Yeah,
think the
sure.
scotch I was drinking might physically put hair on your chest.
That is neither a masculine or feminine thing either, Emily.
I'm gonna, yeah,
I don't
bow on
know
that
where I'm
one.
going with that one.
No,
Yeah.
that's not body hair shame.
Um. Yeah, that sounds fair. So, anywho, we tried that, and there's a handful of the bottles of red that were just. I feel like they were aged in a tire, and I wasn't a fan. So we ditched that one. I honestly don't remember which one it was. Then we did another one, and that actually I think we did that like twice,
Yeah,
and that was super cool.
yeah,
Wasn't terribly expensive for what it was, um, but yeah, it was kind of nice that there's like a few months there where we just like have like a bottle of wine a week and just let it spread out over a couple of days. And
yeah. No, that's the way to do it. I did for a while a wine subscription also. It was fine. It was about $13 a bottle, but I did another one that I think is kind of more a subscription box, and it was a literary one. By a company,
what?
yeah. So they'd send you a couple books and then some literary themed gifts, and they would only do it quarterly, so you didn't get as burned out on it. And sometimes they'd send really great books. Like I got a really great book called The Mothers. I got another great book called The Animators. And I think I canceled it when they sent me that like whitewashed trash, The Island of the Blue Dolphins. I'm like, okay,
I
one,
remember reading that book when I was in elementary school.
exactly. I'm like, one, this is the focal piece of this box is a book that everyone reads in the second grade. Two, like I like was like, oh, I forgot about this book and kind of Googled it, and it's basically like a super racist book. And I'm like, oh,
You know, I've never thought of it in terms like that, but I was also, like, probably, like, 7 when I read that,
yeah,
so
exactly. You're kind of too young to pick up on those themes, but after, like, reading about it a little bit more, you're like, "Oh, this is cringy." Like, it's all, like, fictitious and, kinda gross and weird, but, I just noticed I kept getting the same kinda stuff over and over, like, "Oh, great, another set of pencils." One, who uses pencils anymore? Uh,
I do, thank you.
I pretty much exclusively use pens, so that just wasn't, like, for me.
Do you
Um
use pineapple pens?
a what?
Pineapple pens?
No. Um And they kept sending, like, water bottles. I'm like, "How many water bottles does a person need?" I think the purpose of a water bottle is you have, like, 1 or 2, and you don't have to keep buying them. But,
Or you could have 8.
yeah, most people do have 8, but I just want to choose the ones that I have. And they also sent a lot of coffee mugs, and I used some of them, and some of them I just, like, gifted, but and also one thing they sent a Donald Trump style hat that said "Make reading great again." I'm like, "I don't like this at all."
Well, so I'm assuming you no longer subscribe to said box?
I canceled my subscription, and shortly thereafter, the entire company went under. Because the idea of those boxes is that there's certain you pay a certain amount for them, and you're promised to get at least that much of value in them. And that last box I got, I
Right,
look at these, like, dollar store books, and I'm like, "This is not, like, $40 worth of product in any way, shape, or form."
right.
So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of just like taking stuff from TJ Maxx and just reselling it is kind of
yeah.
the impression I get for some of those boxes is like, yeah, this is like the leftovers from like last fall
Yeah,
from whatever company. They're just kind of getting rid of it at cost.
totally, and I know that there are some gear companies that have done that in the past, most notably, I think Gear Supply Company was a subscription box, and theirs was
Yike.
very utility, like strings, cleaner, and picks. Yet, I kind of think like I don't change the strings on my guitar every month, so that never really appealed to me. Um, and then when that all just went south, uh, I didn't think about it, but I saw it seems like there might be another company trying to start a guitar subscription box, and I think they might even have the word supply in the name. And I was just wondering, like, do you think that is a bad idea? Like, do you think that like we still need more time before the guitar gear world accepts some sort of subscription box like that again, if ever?
Well, that's an interesting question. Well, first off, whatever company is doing subscriptions with the name Supply in their brand name should fire their marketing director because that's just bad optics. That's just not a good association. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think that wasn't a good move.
even if you're fantastic, just that word in your name is so tainted. Maybe just change the name before you get too into it.
Yeah, I know. My general thoughts on the idea of like the viability of a subscription box in this industry is that as artists, we all want things to be kind of ours in their own way. And there's a lot of like, we're all very picky. And so if you're going for like a single product, for instance, like String Joy, I think has a decent model here because you get you figure out what you want and then you get that set of strings like once a month, for instance.
Yeah.
And so that's the subscription model there. I think that makes a lot of sense because that's allowing you to get exactly what you want, and then the function of the subscription box is you don't have to go out and buy it when your strings break or whatever. You just it's coming.
Yeah, or that you can have a little bit of a backlog going. It
Right, and so but for, like, a piece and so, like, that's great for peace of mind, and, like, I keep extra strings around, like, I keep for instance, I keep a couple sets of slinkies around for doing setups, because honestly, I'm not great at doing setups on my guitars, and I'm bound to break a string at some point, and so I've got, like, my slinkies, like, 9s and 10s, and if I'm doing a setup on my guitars, I've got set to 9s, and yes, I do play 9s, I'm not a wuss, that's what I like, um
Alright. I like nines.
I was catching flack for that the other day. I mentioned that I play on 9s, and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Billy Gibbons plays 7s. Come on, people,
Oh,
just let people play what
okay.
they want."
I never want to talk about Billy Gibbons on the show ever again. Can we just, like, moratorium on Billy Gibbons? I have my reasons.
That's fine.
But yes, he does play, like, 7s or 8s.
Yeah, I mean, so anyways, that's an aside. I don't that's not the point, but the idea is like, yeah, you get that peace of mind, and that's something you get out of a subscription box. Now, if the point is to try and like surprise people, like, yeah, you're gonna get a range of things. I think that doesn't work as well for the type of audience we're talking about
Yeah.
because
Well, I think that you could get
um
them to do it once or twice, but it's like the idea of the
right,
Premier
well,
guitar.
that's what a surprise box is
Right, but
though.
the it's like the but, like, versus a subscription, like, I think you would see so much turnover because how many people buy the Premier Guitar mystery box once, see that it's just trash, like, literal trash, and never do it again? They sell out every time, but I think people there's also for that, you're mostly doing a lottery to see if you can get something good.
Oh yeah, I mean it's definitely a lottery, and I mean it's whatever, but I think that is very viable. It sells out every time pretty
It
quickly,
does, and they get rid of all their
and
trash.
people are left wanting in on them to sell like five more for the year. People like they sell out, and then there's like still people wanting it,
Yeah,
and so I think that's totally fine. I think so. I guess here's my example for why I'd have a hard time imagining that if you're looking at kind of more random stuff is that when I worked at Guitar Center, every Christmas there was you'd always get someone who come in and they're shopping for their significant other and they don't play guitar.
mm,
They're like, well, I've got a budget of $30. What can I get for my significant
not
other for their
much.
guitar stuff? And part of yeah, I mean, there's the answer is not much, but of the stuff that falls in that, like for like strings or picks and all that kind of stuff, it's a lot of it's really specific, and then the rest of it get really kitschy real fast, and it
Mhm.
just feels like a waste of money.
Yeah, totally. Like, okay, so you can get some picks and strings, but do you know what kind of strings she likes? No, then don't get her strings. Or you have to look through like the tab books and be like, oh well, he likes Elton John, so maybe I'll buy him this Elton John guitar tab book. But like to ask a company to do that for you, I think you are just going to get trash more often than not. Just like stuff you don't need. You're gonna get clip-on tuners, you're gonna get like guitar straps that you might like, you might not. Like I don't really know what you can consistently deliver as a part of like a subscription box that would be of any like value to a wide range of guitarists.
Yeah, and like I'd be happy to be proven wrong, and maybe it's just because I haven't had the thought or the particular business model that's going to change that, but
Yeah.
I have a hard time picturing it. I don't know what it is.
Here's another one though. Some pedal companies have tried uh, sort of a pedal subscription service. I forget what pedal company it was. It was like $1,000 or something, and you would get like 20 of their product line pedals, and then you'd be promised like every time they launch a new pedal, you get that pedal. And Devi Ever was going to do something similar that would be like a fuzz. I think it was like a DIY, build your own fuzz from her circuits. Uh, and that was the idea was that would be on a subscription model as well. So every month you get a different fuzz pedal you could build.
Yeah, I mean, for some people, I could see that working out, but I feel like that. I don't know. I have a hard. Hmm, there's only one company that I've got. like multiples of a pedal from that I've bought
Is
new.
it Earthquaker?
It's
Yeah.
Earthquaker. And that's just because like I've just fallen in love with the whole hubris of what Earthquaker does in their approach to effects. And that just gels really well with my approach to effects and my approach to playing. And so that's what that is. I can't I just I'd have a hard time even with Earthquaker if they were to say give us $1,000 and we're gonna release however many new pedals in the next year. I'd have a hard time like ponying up that. I don't know. I that just sounds like
Faith?
a lot of faith.
Yeah.
And if there was a company for that, I would say yes to that. It absolutely would be Earthquaker because I'd have pretty solid confidence that everything that they put out is
I would
gold.
do it for
Uh,
Boss too, to be honest.
I could see it like for maybe for Boss. I don't know. I feel like the only company I could think about doing that for would be Earthquaker,
Yeah.
and that still just makes me like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I could do that.
That's a That's a high price of entry. That's also kind of how I feel about
Yeah.
like gambling. Like I've never gone to a casino.
Not even just for like going in with $10 to play the nickel slots.
Nope, never gone to a casino, and I've only purchased one lottery ticket in my life, and it was this is fun. So, the job I was working at was giving out at the time was giving out lottery tickets as an incentives for certain job goals,
Oh.
and so I got like lottery tickets as like a good job, you did something great, and so I went across the street and not lottery ticket. It was a scratcher. That's what it
Yeah,
was. It was a scratcher. And I
scratchers.
won $1 off a scratcher. And the guy's like, "Okay, so you want to just take your dollar and go, or do you want to buy another scratcher and see if you get
That's what
lucky?"
most people do.
And I was like, "It's a dollar. Like it's not like this dollar is going to drastic. Like if I don't get this dollar, it's not going to be the end of the world." So I gambled and I lost. And there's nothing on the next scratcher. No big deal. But like I don't know. I have a hard time with the idea of like I'm giving money. I'm not entirely sure what I'm getting. Like I don't feel comfortable with
Well, at
that.
least the lottery
I
funds
don't.
education. You're getting that.
No, I think the lottery is a stupid people tax, but that's just me.
Yeah, it is,
But
but it funds
statistically
it
speaking,
funds education.
mm, I'm not as I don't know. That's a very complex thing.
I think that if you do it, and it's like that's the thing with gambling. If you go in and you are just like, I'm sure I'm going to lose this money. This is my budget. This is all I'm going to spend. And you just go in
Well, right,
expecting to have like fun. Then yeah, that's totally cool. Like get a couple free drinks and see how long you can make that money last. But if you go in, there aren't a lot of people I think who can win at gambling. And I think that there aren't a lot of ways to make to pull it back to gear. I don't think there are a lot of ways to make it truly pay off for most musicians um, when it comes to some sort of subscription box that was more than just like your essentials, like back to you. Because otherwise, you're
right,
just going to end up with garbage. Your turnover rate is going to be outrageous. Like honestly, even like things like music subscription clubs, like gosh, like if you're getting a different vinyl record in the mail every month and you don't really know what it is, I hope that it's good. Hopefully like there's good people curating it, but like sometimes you're going to get something you don't like and you're going to be bummed about it.
right. Well, so here a couple of thoughts. Well, first off, I want to walk back something I just said about the stupid people taxes. I probably shouldn't have said that, and that's a little bit of a crass way of talking about something in an unfair way, just because there are people who are in really tough financial situations, and there's that it's like dangling a carrot from the government of like, hey, like if you throw us a little bit of what little money you've got, maybe you could get out of your tough situation. So like a lot of empathy for that. So I don't want to knock it that hard. That was a little harsher than it needed to be. um
That's one of those things. That's one of those things that people say and then they repeat, and I don't think they ever think about uh like the meaning of what they're saying.
right, and that's definitely like, yeah, I mean, if you're in a really tough financial situation, I've been in tough financial situations, like I totally get the appeal of that, so I apologize for that. uh and So the thought I have about like subscription boxes, like the idea of trying to please everybody, is if there's a way to personalize a subscription box on a more individual level, I think that might work a little bit better, because otherwise what you get is like you get like Star Wars fans or Game of Thrones fans. Whatever decision gets made about the plot, there's some people that are going to be happy, but you can't please everyone. I
Mhm.
mean, that's just not possible.
Yeah.
I'm personally really bummed that they've canceled the follow-up movies for Solo, because it was supposed to be like a multi-movie installment, and they kind of left the ending with a little bit of like oh wait, there's more and I want to see more.
Yeah.
And I'm super bummed that everybody threw a fit and then they canceled it, because I'm like, I wanted
They
that.
would have made
Come
money.
on.
Like, that's
I
upsetting.
mean,
Like, that's dumb.
they would have made lots of money from me. That's my fanboy tax. And but yeah, you can't please everybody. I mean, Game of Thrones had that petition for to completely, what season? It's like season 8 is the final season everybody's on,
Yeah.
or that just ended.
No, it's
And
well, yeah. As we were recording, it had the finale is about 2.5 hours away.
and all I know is that the the only thing that I know is going to die for sure is HBO,
No, they're gonna do fine.
because after this, but like, what does HBO got? Like Last Week Tonight is great and all, but that can't carry the whole network.
No, it's not supposed to. They have Barry, they have other shows in the pipeline. Like, I watch a lot of HBO shows. They have Insecure. Just because there's not shows that you watch doesn't mean they're not really big with certain demographics. They're promoting this big thing called Chernobyl. They have that show that has the Michael Kiwanuka song as the intro music, which I'm like, I don't know the name of that show, but I watched every episode. No, they have stuff. Don't worry. Like, they'll find the next big thing. Also, they have Game of
It was
Thrones.
supposed to be a
Okay,
joke.
okay, fine. But it's not a joke. It's not funny if it's just like, no.
Nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too strong. um,
Yes. I do want to share my
uh,
theories on Game of Thrones, though.
See, I'm in the fun spot where I haven't watched a single episode, but I know enough about what's happened this season to where I've just like been throwing out wild ideas of what's going to happen. And I threw out theories with my coworkers of what was going to happen before last week's episode. Like, no, it wouldn't happen. Like, why? What of them happened?
Was it that
I don't even know.
was which one happened? Which thing?
Oh, I don't want to. I don't want to spoil anything.
Okay. You'll tell me later.
Um, but yeah, like one of them happens. I had a friend of mine who was super into Breaking Bad. When the series finale happened, and at that point in time I hadn't watched a single episode, and so I remember making a comment, like a wild prediction, like I knew very little bit about the show, just threw out something super vague, like horoscope level vague, that could kind of sort of apply to a number of different things. And my college roommate at the time was like, no, they couldn't do that. They wouldn't dare do that. And then it happened during I watched the first episode of Breaking Bad. I watched was the last episode just so I could be like, ha. But yeah, I'm kind of, I've thrown out a couple of ideas, and I don't even care about the show, which is really terrible, but I'm excited to see what my coworkers have to say in the morning.
Yeah, I'm excited to have some discussions about it. But I mean, you could just listen, like, known they were using that Marty Robbins song in Breaking Bad and made a guess about what the ending was going to be.
I mean,
That's how I feel.
I hadn't seen a single episode up until that point, so I'm just
All right, all
saying,
right.
I'm not psychic, but I'm a little
A little
psychic.
psychic, yeah.
Also, just incredibly lucky, and this is how horoscopes work. So,
That is cool. Well, hopefully, we'll have coming up at the podcast some really cool things. The reason we've gone 2 weeks now, which is their standard non-co-hosted episodes, is because we're working on something a little bit bigger. So we're really excited to share that with you and have that all come together.
yeah, we've got a 2-part episode coming up that's going to be mind blowing.
Let's not overpromise. Under promise, over
And we'll
deliver.
Okay, fine. I don't know. I can't promise that everybody's gonna like it. What I can promise is that I've really enjoyed the work on it so far, and I think this might be the most work we've ever put into an
Oh, far
episode.
and away, but, it's going
And
to
I
be
think
really
it's
worth
gonna
it. I'm excited. We have some really it's like, I can't believe that people said yes to us situations. Yeah,
yeah. I'm pretty hyped.
nice. Yeah,
So
sweet. Um,
be sure to stay tuned.
yeah, so thanks for listening, thanks for understanding. This has been the Get Offset podcast. I'm Emily.
And I'm Andrew.
Goodbye.
Bye.